Now, your forecast first from KARK4.
A typical August day across the state today. We saw a handful of showers and thunderstorms. For the most part, they have long since dissipated, but we do have one strong thunderstorm moving along I-55 just south of Jonesboro. Other than that, just some mid and high level clouds from leftover thunderstorms in Missouri earlier. Those associated with the first of two cold fronts. That front is going to be washing out as it moves eastward. A second stronger front now coming out of southern Canada into the northern plains will be approaching as we head into Friday and Saturday, get installed in Arkansas, and that means higher rain chances. Your forecast first for Little Rock, a partly cloudy day is on the way for your Wednesday. 20% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. We're to top it out in the mid to upper 90s. KARK4 News at 10 starts right now.
Now, from the station you count on for local news that matters, this is KARK4 News at 10.
A former employee and police records painting a concerning picture for a behavioral hospital in Maumelle. But the facility contends it's not necessarily true. Thanks for joining us at 10, everyone. I'm Bob Clausen.
And I'm Ashley Katz. And Tyler Thomason's with us tonight. He joins us with what's being said and how the hospital's parent company is also responding tonight.
Yeah, guys, a former nurse who says she left the Maumelle Behavioral Hospital because of conditions there says there's a lack of workers and it's putting kids at risk. Tonight, we look into those claims and what involvement, if any, police have had there. 1 week after a mother told us her son was sexually assaulted at the Maumelle Behavioral Hospital, a former employee is coming forward with allegations of her own.
In my opinion, the staffing wasn't adequate to watch the children as closely as needed to be watched.
This nurse wanted to remain anonymous. She tells us she worked at the behavioral hospital from 2016 to 2018. When she heard a child reported being sexually assaulted there, she says she was not surprised.
To be honest, that's not the first incident. The others just haven't really been made public.
We obtained police records dating back to 2017. In the last 2.5 years, Maumelle officers were called for sexual assaults at the facility at least 3 times. A spokesperson for the facility's parent company, Methodist Family Health, says the hospital has no knowledge of these reports being investigated or substantiated.
In the back of my mind, I always felt like that something would come up.
The ex-employee describes workers stretched thin, manning 2 units of kids rather than 1.
That's when they start acting up and taking advantage of the situation.
The spokesperson tells us in a statement, Methodist Behavioral Hospital meets all state and federal regulations. We are not understaffed. The spokesperson went on to say Methodist Family Health takes seriously our mission to provide the best possible care to those who may need it. Maumelle police did not release the actual reports regarding those sexual assault claims. It remains unclear what the results of those calls were. Back to you.
All right, Tyler, thanks very much. A federal judge says 3 Arkansas abortion restrictions already temporarily blocked will stay that way, and while she considers a lawsuit challenging them. Late this afternoon, U.S. District Judge Christine Baker granted the preliminary injunction blocking the restrictions. Judge Baker's original ruling to block them was set to expire tonight. The laws ban a measure or include a measure that would ban abortion after 18 weeks. Another places new restrictions on who can perform the procedures. The third law would have prevented abortions on fetuses diagnosed with Down syndrome. The Office of Attorney General says they immediately filed an appeal to the 8th Court. Arkansas is one of 2 states with an 18-week ban.
A Maumelle police captain could soon be under investigation if the city attorney has her way. City Attorney Melissa Krebs confirms that she has asked an outside agency to investigate the officer who has been accused of allowing friends to use police property. We reached out to the Maumelle Police Department. A spokesperson said the department right now there's no comment. It's unclear whether the captain has been disciplined for anything. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that they're investigating a Maumelle officer. Investigators are currently interviewing witnesses. We are your local election headquarters. Unofficial results coming in tonight out of Pulaski County. It's the Democratic primary special election for State Senate District 36. Denise Ennett, as you see there, taking roughly 33% of the vote, while Darrell Stevens closely behind with 31%. Since no candidate received more than 50%, there will now be a runoff between Ennett and Stevens. That's going to be held September 3rd. Make note of that, voters.
An El Paso artist offering a message of hope and unity following the shooting Saturday in a mural now with the words El Paso Strong on it.
It's an image with deep meaning as the community is split tonight on President Trump's upcoming visit. As Wes Rappaport reports, some are eager to hear the president's message, while others hope it doesn't become a distraction.
As the healing continues in El Paso, the city prepares to host the president.
I want to clarify for the political spin that this is the office of the mayor of El Paso in an official capacity welcoming the office of the President of the United States, which I consider is my formal duty.
Octavio Lizarde was shot in the attack. His nephew was killed. When asked at the hospital about the president's visit, his response, that seems to be the overall trend. People leaving notes for the president at the growing memorial where the shooting happened tell us they don't think anything productive will come out of the president's trip. Governor Greg Abbott will return Wednesday afternoon with the state's lieutenant governor and House Speaker to meet with members of the El Paso legislative delegation. Both of Texas's senators have visited this week as well. El Paso State Representative Joe Moody says it's the duty of elected leaders to respond.
As these scenes unfold, not just in Southern Springs or Santa Fe, and now here in El Paso, but across the country, we're not sent to the Capitol to ignore things like this.
Meantime, Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, who represents El Paso in Washington, D.C., says she was invited to appear alongside President Trump during his visit here to the region. She instead requested a phone call ahead of his visit to talk with the president about some of his recent comments about racism. That request, she says, the White House was unable to accommodate. Mixed feelings with the president's visit approaching as we come up on day 5 since the attack. Reporting in El Paso, I'm Wes Rappaport. Back to you.
Meanwhile, the family of the gunman in the Dayton mass shooting issued a statement tonight. It was delivered by the chief of police. It said in part they are shocked by and devastated by the events, and also thanked police and first responders. They say they're cooperating with law enforcement and will not be commenting any further. The Betts family lost their daughter, Megan, who was shot and killed by the gunman who was their son. Their son was shot and killed by police moments after the shooting began.
In response to the shootings, Governor Asa Hutchinson says it's time for Arkansas to change its way. He says the state now, more than ever, needs a hate crime law on the books. The new rules would enhance the penalty for crimes targeting people for their race, religion, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and gender identity.
I think there's been some resistance to it because we didn't want to give enhanced penalty in protection of some individuals in our society versus others. But with the level of challenge that we see with acts of hate, with violent acts of hate in our society, it's time that we did this.
Arkansas is just one of 4 states that currently does not have a hate crime law in place. The governor also announcing today millions of dollars in grant money to expand broadband across the state. The Arkansas Rural Connection grant money is a $25 million plan. Back on July 23rd, Governor Hutchinson established the Arkansas State Broadband Office. The goal of the grant program is to provide high-speed broadband to rural communities across the state by the year 2022.
Some changes in how your tax dollars are being invested, according to a report that was from
Group from Independent Financial Analysis requested by the State Treasury. The State Treasury invested nearly half its cash into 2 investment funds and other companies. That's almost double what the state policy allows. It also means if the funds fail, Arkansas could lose a big chunk of change. Today, the State Board of Finance voted unanimously to close the loopholes it created a year ago.
The speed limit maybe has been lowered from 80 to 70. You know, every year is not going to always make records like this year, this past fiscal year, where we returned the most money that's ever been returned to Arkansas.
The policy change of no longer investing in just 2 accounts is effective immediately. The treasurer telling KARK today they're already looking at other ways to invest. It's seemingly become harder and harder to make a living as a farmer in America these days, and through no fault of their own. An unusually wet year and escalating trade war with China doesn't make for a good mix. President Trump stepped up the trade war once again this week, announcing plans to throw tariffs on $300 billion worth of Chinese goods. At the same time, China has been buying less U.S. products, meaning farmers are struggling to make sales. Senator Tom Cotton says we all need to hold steady at this point.
Ultimately, China needs American food. They cannot feed their own people. They really can't even source all of the food they need from other countries. So if we hang tough, if we stand behind in a firm, united fashion, the United States trying to fight this trade war with China, I'm confident that not only our farmers, but all Americans will ultimately benefit.
Yeah. President Trump says his strategy is working and America is in a strong position to ride out the trade war. Since stocks plummeted Monday, they slowly rebounded today. A lot of eyes, though, on the stock market.
The city of Little Rock, meanwhile, is looking to make some big changes when it comes to many items we use just one time.
Find out how the city could be one step closer to getting rid of some plastic items.
And tied for the hottest day of the year. The second time we've hit 96 this afternoon here in the capital city. 74 was our morning low. Just a trace of rainfall here in Little Rock since midnight. Other places picking up a brief downpour. We've got more rain chances on the way, along with scorching temperatures and then a cool down. The details are straight ahead.
You're watching KARK 4 News at 10.